Welcome everyone, I'm Kingly Valence, and thanks for watching this Spore video. One of Spore's best features is to build custom creations throughout the game's many creators and editors, including creating our own creatures, buildings, vehicles, and galactic adventures. These creations are added to our local Sporepedia, and can appear in our own playthroughs of Spore. These creations can also be shared online, and contribute towards the global Sporepedia, and live among millions of other user-generated assets. These user-made creations from millions of other players can be downloaded and be brought right into our game to play with as well. But there's one small problem. All of these user-made creations in the global Sporepedia are held on EA's servers, and we've seen that game studios and publishers can shut down the online functionality to their games. So what happens when EA decides to pull the plug on the servers? Are these millions of creations lost? Relegated to the dustbin of history? Thankfully, no. Because thanks to a team of Spore enthusiasts and programming wizards, the Spore community has begun archiving the entire global Sporepedia. Today, we are going to take a look through what it takes to preserve the Sporepedia, the team behind these efforts, their current progress, and their plans to keep the Sporepedia online even after the inevitable day the official servers are shut down. To first understand what is being archived, we need to know how creations are saved and stored. Every creation in Spore, whether it's a creature, spaceship, or even a galactic adventure, is stored as a PNG file. These PNGs are typically around 25 to 30 kilobytes each, which individually is not a lot of storage for seemingly a lot of information. Within the PNG, most of the data is storing the preview image of the creation itself in a 128 by 128 format. This preview is just a picture of the creation. However, PNGs are magical files that can store hidden data in plain sight that Spore can understand and allow importing a creation into the game. Stored in the PNG is the hidden modeling information that Spore needs to import the creation. The actual model of the creation is only around 3 to 5 kilobytes. Technically, this is the only data that would need to be stored to retain a creation, but the preview image is still important for us to visually understand which creation we are looking at. And there's also enough space allocated for the name and description of the creation within the PNG as well. When a creation is uploaded to the global Sporepedia, this PNG is added to the collection. When sharing a creation online, there's also a separate 256 by 256 version of the PNG uploaded as well. But this is just a preview image of the creation for Spore's website, and doesn't contain any modeling information. This extra preview image may not be entirely necessary to keep in the full archive, as this second PNG would take a lot more storage, and there are a lot of creations to collect. There is an active count of total creations ever uploaded to the Sporepedia, and currently on Spore.com, the count sits at over 191 million creations uploaded. And if each PNG is around 25 to 30 kilobytes, that puts the entire Sporepedia around 5 to 6 terabytes. However, the true count still being held by the Sporepedia is actually a lot less. All uploaded creations that have been deleted, banned, modded, or otherwise corrupted are designated as invalid creations. However, invalid creations are actually still retained on the servers. Maxis was occasionally purging invalid creations up until around 2014, so the exact number of creations still in the database is unknown. The best current estimate puts the total around 25 million creations, including all current invalid ones, so the real storage should be about 750 gigabytes. Which is much more manageable. All of the creations still on the servers will be archived. However, the hard part is retrieving all of that data, and Spore servers aren't meant to handle distributing almost a terabyte of data at a time. While the servers have been recently migrated to modern Amazon Web Service servers, it's important not to overload the servers with download requests to not inadvertently DOS them. But thanks to the efforts of ZeroCap Online, Error, and the archival team website, a lot of progress has been made towards retrieving the creations. But before they can start downloading, they first need to find all of the creation's ID numbers. Every creation on the Sporepedia is assigned a 12-digit ID number. This means there could be theoretically at most 1 trillion creations uploaded. However, the IDs themselves start at 300 billion for Maxis-made creations, and at 500 billion for user-made creations. So our slots are significantly reduced, but there are still plenty of IDs available, and each creation uploaded will receive the next ID number in sequence. However, not all ID slots will be filled. Each time someone signs into their Spore account in-game, the next ID is reserved for them to upload a creation. But if they don't choose to upload a creation that session, that ID is left empty, meaning there are a lot of IDs that don't contain a creation. To determine if an ID does contain a creation, the archival team can start at ID number 500 billion, for example, and ping the server, "Is there a creation at number 500 billion?" and receive a response from the servers. Then continue with 500 billion and 1, and 2, and 3, and so on. The archival team is keeping track of every ID they pinged and which IDs have a creation present. And this part of the process has been completed, which is how we can estimate there being around 25 million creations to be obtained. Now they'll have to do a second pass through the Sporepedia, now knowing which IDs to download. But this is the part that needs to be done carefully and somewhat slowly to not overwhelm the servers. The archival team is also retrieving more than just creation data. They also want to preserve all comments, ratings, and everything else associated with the creation as well. Since this is all just text, the actual data storage isn't too bad, but the methodical thoroughness is very impressive. But how will the archived Sporepedia be useful once the servers are shut down? Archival is great, but if it's held on someone else's computer, how can it be used? The Spore community has plans to create their own servers to keep the Sporepedia's legacy alive. These community servers will even allow new creations to keep being uploaded as well. Since Spore accounts are tied to EA accounts, true account migration isn't possible. However, they have plans for this as well that we can contribute to right now. They plan to make parallel accounts so we can retain seamless access to the creations, comments, and even achievements from our current Spore accounts and our new future community Spore accounts. The way to verify your Spore account today is first join their Spore Community Hub Discord run by Kade, link in the description. Then, while logged into your Spore account on Spore.com, find a creation of Kade's and leave a comment on their creation with your Discord name. They will then connect your Spore account to your Discord account. This way, you will have access to your current Spore account's data once they make community accounts on their servers. Once the servers are shut down, Spore will think all servers are offline. However, all it takes is modding Spore to direct the game to connect to the new community servers instead of EA's offline servers, and it should all work as seamlessly as before. And shout out to Rosalie, who have already begun work on a functional prototype for this mod that can connect to their future servers. For example, here's a custom registration page with different text. This screen is actually a web page normally pulled from Spore.com, so this being different shows that Spore is now connecting to their community servers. This is all incredible work being done to preserve the Sporepedia. The original Spore forum was unfortunately already shut down back in 2018, and EA did not provide adequate notice for the team at the time to archive everything they wanted. However, this time they are prepared and doing a lot of the groundwork ahead of time for the day the servers are shut down. Thankfully, it doesn't currently appear there are any signs of the servers being shut down anytime soon. The earliest we currently see there being any problems won't occur until March 2027, when the Spore client itself will require a new Secure Sockets Layer, or SSL certificate, to keep its online access. These certificates are standard internet protocols that need to be renewed every 10 years, but it requires an actual game update to do, and who knows if EA intends to do this. The servers themselves may still function through direct API access for longer, but if EA doesn't decide to renew the certificates, and no longer supports the official servers, the Spore community is prepared to take on the mantle and keep the Sporepedia alive. Thank you so much to Kade and Error for working with me on this video, and to ZeroKep Online and Rosalie for making this all possible. And special shoutouts to Razik Mazilya for their early research into understanding Spore's networking activity, and to Splitwirez and EMD for creating the modding tools for Spore that we all take for granted today, and apologies if I mispronounced your names. This is all incredibly interesting and something I might not have considered until it's too late, so it's great to see the community thinking ahead. Make sure to check out their Discord and GitHub page for everything they've been working on, and send them your support. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm King of Valence, and I'll see you next time.